Good. Let's start. Call to order. City Council Successor Agency Financing Authority. City Clerk.
Council Member Authority Member Johnson, Mann, Smith,
Here.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chair Christ,
Present.
Mayor Chair Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Is a motion to excuse the absence of Mann and Johnson? Second. No, I was calling for one. So moved. Okay. All in favor?
Second.
Aye. Thank you. No Housing Authority meeting today. The invocation is Pastor Arnwine from Prevailing Word Christian Church. Did I get it right? Did I pronounce it right? Thank you.
Good evening. If you bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for allowing us to meet tonight. We thank you for our city council, our mayor, and all those, God, that are in authority. You told us in the word that if we would pray, though, for those that are in authority, that we would lead quiet and peaceful lives. And so, Father, we thank you for these that govern our city. I pray, God, as we acknowledge you tonight, that you would direct our path, that you would allow us, God, to have the wisdom and the understanding that we might guide with your hand. Now we give you the praise for this. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ron, you want to do the pledge?
Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we have some presentations.
You can speak case in favor.
Yes, because that's the criteria by which we determine people's participation.
This is for you. You guys ready? Want to do it individually or you want to come up together? I said individually. So you're Miss Supreme. This is Miss Supreme Latina Loriana Calderon. Is that right? Lorena Calderon. Okay. So when did this happen?
April 26, 2014.
April? And then made you wait to June to get here?
Yeah.
Okay. On behalf of the city, we want to congratulate you. Thank you for coming. Congratulations. Let's do this. Let's do everybody, and then we'll bring everybody down and do the photographs. Does that work? Okay, great. And we got Miss Latina AB, Victoria Gleason. Thank you. And Junior Miss Latina AB, Elisa Riviera. Riviera. 10. Did you have to give a speech? How was that for you? You know, I was 50 years old before I quit being scared. And are you, Analea? Hilly. Okay. And how are you? You're little Miss Latina, right? And how are you? So you both did. So how, you were in different contests, right? You did a speech. Where did you get your speech?
This tour guide.
Your tour guide. You want to get it down?
No, I didn't.
You go to 7, Joe? Yeah, let's see. You want to do them individual, then you want to do them all together? Does that work? Okay, so why don't you step over here and can you parents? Come on down. Come on down. proud of you. Her face is just lit up. Okay, is that your mom?
Yes.
You got a great mom.
Thank you.
And Victoria, right?
Yes.
Okay, ready? City's getting it.
Thank you.
Lisa, right?
Alyssa.
Alyssa. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay. Elizabeth. Thank you. Help me with your name. No, your first name. Janelle. Janelle. Oh, it's with a G? Janelle? So you say with a G. Okay, good. Come on.
They're on the line.
Can we get a picture with the girls with you in front of the God we trust?
Sure. Come on this side here. You want us to go back up there? No. Ready? Fucking here, right here. That's Does this work?
Close your eyes. Pretty feet.
Pretty feet.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. You were? Oh. Was that, did that work pretty good? Did you give a speech there? I would never to miss an opportunity to give a speech. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Okay. Bye-bye.
We should have an agenda for the oversight board.
They spoke at the Palmdale City Council.
You spoke at the Palmdale City Council meeting? Is that? Huh. Next year, you give a speech. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. City manager, anything to be removed?
No, sir.
Okay, we're going to move PH1 to this portion of the agenda to allow staff to have time to, we're going
To count the votes.
to do PH1 now, right?
Right.
Yes, you should
Thanks.
open the public hearing and
So we're opening the public hearing on PH1 and the staff report from City Services Manager Workman. Is this your first presentation to us?
With you here.
With me here? What do you say?
I'm saying that I have done them before, but you were not here, much to my chagrin.
Must have been 10 years ago, right?
A few years ago.
Okay.
Mayor Paris and council members, the public hearing this evening is the culmination of an action taken by the council at its May 13th meeting. At that meeting, council adopted Resolution 14-19, which set the date of the public hearing to hear testimony concerning the annexation of the Lancaster Business Park into the Lancaster Landscape Maintenance District. The proposed annexation of the business park into the existing district will provide for continued maintenance of the landscaping. Proposition 218 requires that 45 days before the public meeting and public hearing that notice be sent to the property owners along with a ballot that allows them to vote in favor or against the annexation. On May 19th, the ballots and other documents were sent out to the property owners, and in order to complete this process, we need to hold the public hearing, receive testimony, and then have the city clerk canvass the ballots to determine whether or not a majority of the property owners are in favor of the annexation. If the majority of the property owners are in favor, staff would recommend that council approve Resolution 14-44, having us proceed with the annexation and assessment. Happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? Good. Is there anyone in the audience that has a ballot to turn in, or if anyone has changes to a ballot already submitted? Nothing can be accepted or changed after the close of the public hearing, so now's the time. Thank you. Michael Reeves?
Mayor Paris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, I oppose this annexation of the property because simply I don't want to see the property owners have any more taxes on their property bills, no matter how wealthy they are or how poor they are. I think we have enough taxes on our bill every year, and if I understand, these will be on our county taxes bills beginning July 1st, 2014. If there's any way that we can provide these services without charging and putting more property taxes on our property tax bills, I would be for it. But right now, I'm against any more taxes for any property owners in the city of Lancaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Jack Cole? Is that Mr. Visco you're with?
I believe so. We walked in together. Mayor Paris, members of City Council, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to speak on behalf of the creation of the Maintenance District. I'm a property owner in the business park and have been for about 17 years now. And I'm concerned about property ownerships, property appreciation, and their property values in general. And I believe that if the maintenance district is extended into the business park, that all of the property owners will see a better maintenance work done on their properties. We're currently paying quarterly payments to the city for those services, and I believe that encompassing everybody into the maintenance district will allow the city to have a steady flow of funds from all of the property owners and, in effect, increase the quality of the maintenance that's being done. Because there are some property owners that don't pay the maintenance fee now and have never paid the maintenance fee. And there are other property owners that do. Putting the bill on the property taxes does not increase the property taxes in any appreciable measure, but it assures that every property owner will pay their fair share. And that's it. I think it's a good deal for the city. I think it's a good deal for the property owners, and I'm in full favor of it.
I got one question. Does Mr. Visco pay his maintenance fees?
I'm sure the maintenance district could tell you whether he does or not, but I'm sure he does. He's a very upstanding individual. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Billy?
Need to close it.
We'll close the public hearing. Staff will tally the votes in City Hall lobby and report back before the meeting's over. And that's when we'll have the vote, is that right?
They're counting the vote. Yeah, you'll consider the resolution at that point after the results of the vote.
Okay, thank you.
Assuming that there's not a majority protest. If there's a majority protest, then we're done.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Let's vote. All in favor? Aye.
Yes.
Anything on the council?
Passed unanimously.
Oh, unanimous, sorry. Are there any items on the council consent calendar to be pulled?
No, sir. Move to approve the consent calendar as currently comprised.
Second. Let's vote. It's unanimous. This is going fast, isn't it? What?
City clerks informed me that there may have been a speaker card on consent calendar.
Oops.
That's the legal term.
So the vote was void, right?
Yes, we need to have the speaker speak and then revote.
Okay, thank you. David Paul? Not your fault, David. Marvin's fault.
Last time I think I just said no and it was okay. I would have done that this time, but Mayor, Vice Mayor, and former Vice Mayor, good evening. You know, I just wanted to get up here and say thank you for the vision the city has shown under your leadership, Mayor Paris. You know, I've heard you say that you're a Republican, but you're not an idiot when it comes to being informed on climate change. Now, I'm not a Republican and I am an idiot, and it's just amazing that two converging forces can agree. And I think it's because of what I heard you say. I have young children, you have grandchildren. We care about the future of this planet for those we love. And the main reason I wanted to speak here today is just, I saw something amazing on TV a couple days ago. Thomas Friedman, who I admire quite a bit, interviewed Barack Obama, and they're talking about energy policy in the future. And for the first time I heard the President of the United States say that we can't pump it all out of the ground and burn it. There is a limit to the fossil fuels. There's 2/3 of them left on the planet. We can't pump them all out and burn it. It'll be catastrophe for our planet. So there has to be alternative energies, wind, solar, nuclear, things that are renewable and don't destroy our environment. So, but it just heartens me to know that our city is taking a leadership position on the common sense approach we need to save our planet and ensure our future. And it's just a pleasure to get up here and say thank you for the continuing progress towards the right future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. You know, I was informed by some people from the state, Paul, David, nuclear is not renewable. You know how we think nuclear is renewable?
There are ways of processing the fuel that's coming into the future that make our stockpiles plenty forever.
Fair enough. Michael Reeves.
Mayor Paris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, I have three things I want to talk about tonight on the calendar: CC3, CC4, and CC5. I have nothing against solar energy. My only regret that the council hasn't pursued having solar panels on people's homes instead of solar fields. You know, I would have liked to put something like that on my house and try it out. But when I go around town and I see solar fields, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Is it making energy for Edison, or it's not directly impacting me? I'm sorry the city didn't pursue a program where we pursued the homeowners and we offered them panels and stuff that way. I would have been more knowledgeable about it. One thing about this project that concerns me, that we're going to CC5 on the solar thing. In the paper today, it said that the county, in giving their approval, attached a condition to the project at Avenue J and 85th Street West that requires the developer to provide an air filtration system for the adjacent Summer Haven Ranch All Nations Retreat Center prior to construction. So does that mean they're going to tear up the ground and there's going to be a lot of dust storms? You know, that's the concern, that we're putting these panels up and we're going to ruin the environment. On the other things, CC4 and CC5, CC3 and CC4 have to do with getting materials for this paving the city streets. It says that we've already done 45 lane miles this inaugural year. I'd like to know what the results are. Is this stuff that we use, is it staying? What's going on with this? How's the 45 miles working out? I would like those questions answered before we approve any more money. And also, in the measure, you're going to give the city manager power to enact any subsequent extensions as eligible within the specifications of the bid. I don't think that appointed people should have that authority. I think that authority should rest with the council. The council should, if they want to make modifications or whatever, the council should do it. So that's all I have to say on the CCs. Thank you.
Thank you.
I need to respond to his. We're not destroying the environment out there, Michael. The city of Lancaster has a different approach than the county of Los Angeles to the solar fields. We don't disturb the soil. Any soil that is disturbed, they have to put rock on top of. So there's a big difference between what the city of Lancaster does in the county. So if you see the solar fields that are out at 170th Street, those are not ours. And those are the main concern of the dust that's been blowing out here. So with that, I'll move that we approve the consent calendar again as currently comprised.
Second. Let's vote. It's unanimous. Thank you. You know, it reminded me on the solar. I've been getting emails about people who put solar panels on their roof who are now reselling their houses and running into difficulty. You know, when we met with the Solar City folks, that wasn't supposed to happen. So are they doing something? Or?
We've met with the Board of Realtors on that particular issue. It's a statewide issue that realtors are looking at. Also, some of the programs that the council approved just last meeting give different alternatives for people to put solar on their houses, different financing alternatives that would make resale easier or a different way to do it. And Jason can give details if you want.
What's Solar City doing?
The way the relationship works is depending upon what happens on the house. Typically it was a lease relationship. Mm-hmm. So the new buyer has to assume that lease, and oftentimes they have to qualify for that lease. There are alternatives to buying that lease out and then selling it as part of the house, but that is the relationship between the buyer and the seller of the property. There are alternatives to doing that, which is paying for cash for the facility on your roof. We now have installed, or you have approved, an opportunity what they call PACE, is Property Assessed Clean Energy, which allows the homeowner an alternate choice to actually put it on the property tax bill. So at the transfer of the sale of the house, that transfers with the property tax. So it continues on that property tax for in perpetuity. So there's a number of different mechanisms to help solve the problem. It's a matter of making the right decisions and having the right advice, so to speak. Solar City, I don't know if they're doing anything specific about it, but it is typical not just of Solar City, but a multitude of solar developers who use the lease financing mechanism to build the solar facilities.
Well, the reason I bring them up is they made assurances to us that wasn't going to happen, that it was going to improve the value of the house and they would be able to sell the house easier. Now, I don't want it to become a bureaucratic mess. I want it resolved so that people aren't encumbered in any way with this. And I think they should be involved in solving it that way. And, what you've described to me is they're going to have to go through hoops. And that's not what I want to see happen. Now, we have been incredibly benevolent to Solar City in fostering their business. I want them to fix this, or that could change. Okay? So can we get a report back in 30 days?
Yes, we can.
All right.
We can. Just so you're aware, too, they are working in other solars on a statewide basis on the same issue. So we'll do some research and see what else is going on in other communities.
Okay, thank you. Okay. PH2? No, did we do PH2 already?
No.
Okay. I get to hear from you twice?
No speaker cards.
No speaker cards, so we'll waive the report from Utility Services. Fair enough? Okay, good.
Still have to open the public hearing.
So I'll open the public hearing. No speaker cards. I'm going to close the public hearing. And is there a motion?
Move we adopt Resolution 14-45.
Second.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. On the council agenda,
We do have a speaker card.
for the council agenda, Michael Reeves.
We're talking about CA-1.
Correct.
I think the idea of commissioners is a good idea. We have people participating in the city that, normally wouldn't be participating in the government. That's fine. My only concern about the commissioners is that sometimes people think they reflect the city of Lancaster. I remember at a rally, and I think the gentleman was on the Neighborhood Vitalization Commission, and he was listed as a commissioner of Lancaster, and allegedly he made remarks that were disparagingly. Another time, recently, there was a rally, and a gentleman who was on the Tapestry Commission, who I thought was removed, but I guess he's put back on, he was identified as one of the participants. I don't know how to do this, but these people do not represent the city. They're identified as commissioners. That's a concern of mine. It should be pointed out to the news media that they do not represent the city. They're there on their own, like a council person would be or someone else. So in the future, there should be emphasized to these people that don't identify yourself as the commissioner because you do not reflect the views of the city of Lancaster when you get involved in this, unless you're authorized by the council and the mayor to represent the city. Thank you.
Michael, that's a good point. I don't know that I agree with it. I've deliberately made efforts to put as many diverse people on these commissions as possible. And what I mean by diverse is politically diverse, functionally diverse, racially diverse, and collectively I think they do represent the makeup of this city. Now, and they are also commissioners. They do have a right to identify themselves that way. What they don't have a right to do is identify themselves in such a way that leads people to believe they're representing the interest of the city at that particular moment, because none of us do that. I don't do that. We do it collectively. The council is able to represent the interests of the city. But it's a gray area. People are going to get confused. It's going to get mixed up. But I do want to take the opportunity to be clear that I have deliberately not filled these commissions with people like me. Now, Marvin thinks that's a great idea. But I don't want all Republicans. I don't want all conservatives. And I want it as diverse as the city is. And sure, that's going to create controversy. Now, you knew you weren't electing a board mayor when you voted me in. I'm just the way it is. Does that clear it up for you a little bit? Thank you. Now, As to commissions, we'll announce the change up on the commissions at the next meeting. They're moving people around, and the council will either approve or not approve. I'm also going to start another commission with the purpose of looking into the county and state funding for homelessness, veterans homelessness, and all other social services. And the purpose of this commission is to investigate why the Antelope Valley has the majority of the homelessness and the majority of the social problems and has the least amount of funding coming in. And we're going to look into who's getting the money, why they're getting the money, and why aren't the needs of the Antelope Valley being addressed. Anybody who has an interest in doing that, they should put in an application. There will be 7 commission members. There's 2 people that I'll be appointing, I'm reasonably certain, but I want to do it all at the same time, and we'll be doing it in 2 weeks. Any questions? Thank you.
But that one is a task force instead of a commission, correct?
No, I think I'm going to make it a commission. But, that's up to you guys. You
have the authority for the task force and the committee.
I do?
Yes.
Great being mayor, isn't it? I'll figure it out. We'll talk about it. Okay. Council reports? No action on the Housing Authority, no action on Finance, no action on Power Authority, no action on Successor Agency. City Manager, any announcements?
No, sir.
City Clerk?
This is the time to address the City Council on matters not on the agenda. Please fill out a speaker card that can be found at the back of the chambers. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. When you approach the podium, you will see lights that appear. The green light comes on when you have 3 minutes left. The yellow light comes on when you have 30 seconds, and the red light comes on when your time is up. Thank you.
I thought that's what it was. I'll back up. Okay. Do you have one?
No.
George Beatty. We're fixing that problem, by the way.
Pardon me?
We're fixing the problem with the manhole cover by the bus stop.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that, Mayor. What they've done, it looks like I went out there with a wheelbarrow and just shoveled in 3 or 4 shovels of blacktop. I mean,
I think that's a temporary. No, I think that's the temporary fix. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, but I mean,
that is correct. It's just a temporary fix because they're going to tear it out and redo it. Right?
We're going to have the contractor redo.
Oh, okay. I'm just commenting on it, how it looks sloppy, whatever they did.
That was just to fix the safety problem for immediately, but no, it's going to get redone.
Okay, now back to the bank-owned properties.
Yes.
Okay. The particular house I'm talking about now is infested with mosquitoes, all kinds of parasites. I have the one neighbor on the west side is even afraid to have her children out in their own backyard playing because the squatters have broken the fences, jumping when the sheriffs come to take them out. Now, the last time the sheriffs were there, somebody came in and bolted the windows and doors supposedly from inside, but yet they're back there now. And again, I'm very concerned about the deputies having to go in this house if they get into the house with the raw sewage. And now we have a county claiming they go out, and if they do a walkabout and they don't smell anything, it's okay. Well, I feel the city has the power to override that, and they need to have the banks address this. The raw sewage is just unspeakable. It's going to contaminate even more. You might even end up with ground squirrels that are carrying diseases and whatever. And one more quick question. Have you found out who was responsible writing the $3,000 plus a check a month for the office for the 2 people?
I did.
More than 3 years that you've never known
You did find
about?
out?
Sorry. We found out what the facts of it are, why they made that decision. I
can't say. I believe it was 2,000, not 3,000.
And what was
Figured
the,
out to more than 3,000 a month.
Hey.
40-some thousand for over the year.
go ahead, you can respond.
The facts that we found out is it was 2,000, and I'm not defending it because I think it's over what they should pay. It was 2,000. It's on Avenue M4 and 11th Street. The lease ends this month, and then they're moving to the sanitation plant starting next month.
Is there any disciplinary action going to be taken?
That's not up.
This is without the
That's
city
not to
council
me.
even
That's
knowing
not
about
up to me. The organization has to determine how they got into that lease. We have communicated to them that they ought to really look at that because that appeared to be over market. That's what the action we've taken to date.
Marvin, you're on that, right?
What?
You're on sanitation, right?
Mr. Mann?
You're not?
No.
Really? Okay, let's have Ken report back, okay?
Okay.
He's the one that brought it to our attention.
All right. We'll have a report from Mr. Mann at the next meeting, hopefully.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Michael Reeves? How do you pronounce that?
I think his first name is Wally.
Mayor Paris, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. One of my speaker cards got mishandled. I wanted to say something about the task force, Mayor Paris. We have a bureaucracy already in place in the Antelope Valley that could handle our homeless problems and social problems. That's the Antelope Valley Healthcare District. I'm very much interested in it, and you'll hear more about it later, but these issues, we need a bureaucracy, and we have a bureaucracy already in place. We have committees, and they could handle some of these issues to do with homelessness and social services. So it's something we should look into. I'm going to look into the charter of the healthcare district and see how broad it is, because there's healthcare districts all up and down the state of California. And, this could really be something big, that the healthcare districts could go outside their charters or expand their charters to handle some of these social issues rather than create another bureaucracy to handle them. So that's the point I wanted to make on that. The last point I want to make tonight is this card I got from Waste Management. They're going to increase our fees in Lancaster 2.70. And, if I remember right, the Social Security, I think they were generous. They gave us 1% last year. These type of things are killing us, with taxes increases on the property bills, and these, Edison's going to increase the rates, the county's going to increase the water bills, and now we have waste management. Now, that's fine. If you guys want to play this game, these vendors, if these vendors want to do this, increase the rates, the city can also, we want more money from you for allowing you to do business in the city. We can play the game too. If you're going to make more money, we're going to make more money. That's only fair. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wally, I can't read the last name. Okay. Melendez, okay.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Paris.
Good evening.
Wally Melendez. Sometime back, Mayor Paris, either I heard you or read about you, and you said something about health problems, or you said medical problems in this community. I don't know how accurate I am, or how well my memory serves me. Did you say something like that?
I say it at least once a week.
Okay. Well, I wanna bring up a point about swamp coolers. Somebody started a trend a long time ago about putting swamp coolers on roofs. Swamp coolers work with water, as you know. The swamp coolers that I know that work okay are mounted on windows. When a person turns it on, automatically they think that it comes from a window, it blows into the house, so you have to open a window on the other side. And that's what they were meant for, because they work with water. Water creates mold with heat. Mold is a poison to the lungs. Okay? So when they mounted them on rooftops, the people that moved into those houses, they thought that a swamp cooler would work like an air conditioner. A swamp cooler does not work like an air conditioner, so they don't think about opening windows. So all that moisture, and with the heat, and if there's improper ventilation in those homes, will contaminate that house as a death trap with mold and sheetrock dust, because that water will deteriorate the paper on the sheetrock and eat out the sheetrock and turn it into dust. The combination of sheetrock dust and mold will kill you in no time. So that's the main point I want to bring up tonight. And I believe that's a real problem in the city of Lancaster. And I believe that's a real problem in the Antelope Valley.
I think you make sense. Let's look into that. See if that is an issue. I mean, are we seeing mold problems in the hospital with people that have swamp coolers?
I don't know the answer to that.
No, I know. I'm saying we should check.
Okay.
We'll look into it. I think what you're saying makes sense, actually.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, thank you. David Paul?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilman Smith, thank you, Mayor, for giving voice to these concerns. You know, there's so many things that people are worried about, and this forum gives us a place to talk about that, how it affects us all. That's what I love about coming here. What we all have in common is the thing we seek. Tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about immigration reform, and I read this quote just today that said that illegal aliens have always been a problem in America. Just ask a Native American. And we all come from different places and we're all here. You know, there has to be a middle ground for a person's own sanity, because we can't open our borders and let us be overrun by every person in the world that needs help. This is true. But we can't turn our backs on children and terrorize them when they come here to seek asylum. So what is the middle ground? It's just understanding that we're dealing with children. If you dig into the vast amounts of money the federal government wastes, the small amount of money to take care of these children, which will be grateful, happy citizens in our diverse future, just makes sense. We don't want to create enemies. We don't want to give signals that we're going to just impose harsh justice on innocent people. There has to be a better way, and I would just ask everybody to understand that we need a little room in our hearts for love. Because I agree with those that say we can't open our borders and accept everyone. That is obvious. We have to do something about it. But there are policies in place that are flawed and things that get in the way. What we can do right is learn to love one another and rise above it, to find a way instead of antagonizing each other. That's what I want to see us do. I want to see us love one another and feel the joy that comes from knowing you've helped a small child. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Ed Galindo? Now, your card was late, but you know the mayor, so...
Your Honor, members of the council, first of all, I'd like to thank you very much for the graduation ceremony of the GED people. That went over great. Their families were very appreciative. It was really something to see tears in the eyes of children watching their mothers graduate. It was fantastic. The second, we had that conference here in Chambers with the Mexican Consul, the DMV, CHP, and the Sheriff's Office and that went over fantastic. We filled the chambers, and the CH3 brought a lot of people in. DMV brought a lot of material to let these people really know how they can get their driver's license after the first of the year. So far, I've heard a lot of complaints here, but I haven't heard what you guys are really doing, and you're helping the community. I just wanted to come up and say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Galindo. Okay, any council reports?
I just want to wish Councilwoman Johnson a speedy recovery from her fall that she sustained at the 4th of July event.
Do we know how she's doing?
Yeah, she's pretty bumped and bruised, no permanent damage, but a lot of swelling, and probably about a week to 10 days she'll be back.
So have we investigated the person that talked her into getting on that horse?
No comment.
It was Jason.
It was Jason.
Yeah, we'll go with it was Jason. We've investigated, that's what we've determined.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to go back to PH1.
Oh, that's right, we have to go back to PH1 and do the ballot count, right?
Yes, I'm ready for you when you're ready to go to PH1.
I'm ready to go to PH1.
All right, we received a total of 48 ballots. 1 was unvoted. 2 were submitted by the same property, and both were yes votes. 13 noes and 33 yeses. So we have a total of 17% no, 83% yes. Therefore, before you for consideration is the resolution, and you may determine to pass it if you so choose.
Thank you. Frank, did you vote twice?
Again? Move to adopt Resolution 14-45.
Second. Let's vote. It's unanimous. Okay. Any comments before we go into closed session?
We don't need to go into closed session tonight unless the council would like to discuss something with me.
Well, that's a first. The City Council meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, July 22nd, 2014 at 5 p.m.